Namaskar, I'm Dr. Nalini Avinash Wagmare, working as assistant professor at Maharashtra Vidyapith, Pune. Criticism is one of the historical method. We have to study today topic related to internal criticism and external criticism. So these both are very important while doing the research. The external criticism. What is the meaning of external criticism? External criticism is called as heuristics, which is a Greek word. It means guiding or discovery. In fact, external criticism means making discovery of the fact whether the document is fake or genuine, whether the document is fake or authentic one. Here we are going to identify if we select any document, then we go check the document related to author should be identified, then to determine the place of the document, to find out the time at which the document was written. For example, if I have taken this book, for external criticism, if I am taking this book, I am finding that who is the author of this book, who is the author of this book. See, Nallur Prasad was the author of this book. And under that, second, the place of it. So in which place? Karnataka Janapada and Yakshagana Academy, Bangalore. It's a place. And again, we are finding the which time, when it was published. So it was published in 1998. So in the historical document testing, we have to thoroughly study the relating to these things. First of all, find out the author, then the place, then time. In which time that was written, which time or which year that book was published. So in history also, whenever we get any document, we are testing or we are discovering. On this basis, it is a fact or it is only duplicated one. So these things we find while doing the research. So this method is very, very important for history. So the external criticism, now you understand author as well as place and time. These three things are very, very important ones. Then external criticism. Research work in history takes much time and also consumes a lot of resource and patience. Because so many documents, so many written, as well as published biographies, letters, journals, we get those things for our reference. So this that time we have to patience while taking these documents, while studying these things also. A researcher chooses a subject of his research firsthand, and this is in fact a difficult task in itself. When a research scholar chooses wrong subject for his research work, many problems arise before him. For a research work, a scholar has to depend on the certain sources, documents, and evidence which are scattered on many places. He depends on documents and makes conclusion on the material content in them. Because the document not we find in only a particular place. Some are in one regional places, some are in local places, some are in archives, some are in museums, some are in some places. So that time they are not in one place. The researcher have a patient and he was hard worker one. He was choose a good topic for research. It is take a patience as well as other things also. Therefore, it becomes very necessary that the material should be authentic, because you are going after selecting your PhD topic, you are going searching. If that whatever you have searched, you have got, is it authentic or not? That's why the researcher must be very careful while doing these things. These documents may be forged, and so research cannot depend on them. Thus, the most important task of researcher has to establish authenticity of document, whichever document he has collected from various places, various libraries, archives. He has to test those things, it's the correct one or wrong one, authentic or unauthentic one. But this task is not so easy as it seems. So that's why the external criticism of document is very helpful at the time when we have collected a lot of sources with us. Then meaning of external criticism, it is the first and foremost responsibility of a good research scholar to select the material for his research work. So he has to find out new material for his work, which is recently coming in the market. He has to look and find out what has been right and in that has been presented after proper scrutiny that can be depended for research purpose. A research scholar scrutinizes the material before using and testing its validity. In fact, he should begin with the presumption that the material is fake unless he is certain after testifying himself that this is genuine or correct. Thus, it adopts analytical operation and it is divided into two parts known as external criticism and finding or helping or guiding in discovery. What I explained is external criticism. Then there is one more criticism related to this research while we are got in many research topic. So that criticism called as internal criticism. It is also called as a hermeneutics, which means interpretative criticism. It is used for scriptures. The main task of both criticism is the search whether a particular document is a correct one or wrong one. A particular source might have been colored by the author because of his own interest. Therefore, it becomes duty of a scholar to doubt every document until it has been critically tested. Whatever you collected from the material from various places, documents you directly using, before using that one, you have to find out if it is correct one or not. Professor Hackett in his book, The Critical Method of Historical Research and Writing, wrote external criticism is of a lower type and includes examination of documents, like manuscripts, book, pamphlets, maps, including ancient inscriptions and monuments, with a view to get their origin and on possible information. Like Professor Longcase Senbos are of the opinion that external criticism is the first group of preliminary investigation which has bearing upon the writing form and the source. In fact, the documents and accounts are rough and these contain true and false material. The main task of a scholar is to find out correct documents and eliminate the false documents. That is the main thing that whatever document you have got that is correct one, not is the main responsibility of the research scholars. They have to do that one. Then sometimes forgery took place in the documents. That time it's the duty of the research scholar. They have to check that one. Here the external criticism is called heuristic, which is a Greek word. It guiding or discovering. In fact, external criticism is making discovery of the fact. So it may be said that it is used for finding out the authenticity of the facts. The scholar should always remember that document which he used is the same as he needs. If he does not satisfy himself with this approach, he will have to find out new source material. Whatever he got, it's wrong, then he go to another source. So a research should ensure that a counterfeit document has not misguided him. History has many evidence where documents were forged and counterfeited due to many reasons. These are available not only in literary sources but also epigraphical records also. In medieval period, a number of characteristics providing grants of land from the king to the monastery were forged by the monks to hold their right on the land. In India, many epigraphical records which relate to governmental grant for charity institution were forged one. Similarly, some other things that some works may be produced by ghostwriter and ascribed to someone else. Thus, a number of works have been ascribed to Napoleon than the Alice writer. So, court poets, some others, if they give more money, then they are right according to who were told to them. That's why here the scholar has to be more careful while referring to any document. Then causes for forgery. What were the causes? Why this forgery took place in the document? Now it became quite clear that in the earlier period, many documents of historical significance were forged due to various reasons. In past, in medieval period, there are many reasons to the documents are forged. Let's see one by one. One of the reasons may be that forgery of the document would be useful to the individual, institution, temple, or family. For example, many documents concerning the grant of land by the king were forged in order to provide benefit to those who were related to grant of lands. These documents relate the fresh grants as well as extend the area of already granted land. In economic point of view, in land granted, that time they are duplicate the documents and they produce to rulers and they continue that one. On the other hand, there is extended period for which land had been given originally. Causes for forgery also. This document counterfeited not only material benefit but also other various reasons, which include religious dispute, personal rivalry, sympathy, pride, social distinction, etc. This forgery may be seen in the field of arts, especially painting, which have been duplicated many times. Even though the fake documents lie scattered not only in one region or any particular region of the nation, but in all parts of the nation. No doubt, documents which are forged continue to mislead the subsequent historians who draw the wrong conclusion. But sometimes these forged documents provide useful information about the political and cultural life of the people. They guide and help to establish very questions in making use of these forged documents. Task of external criticism. Now we find that in this 2-3 lines that the documents are forged because of economic, religious, personal interest, as well as ruler says those things, land purpose, money purpose, fame purpose, or personal community interest. So these are the reasons the forgery took place in the document. Then what was the main task of the external criticism? How we find the correct document. So here in order to throw light on the task of external criticism, first it is essential to understand that what is the job of external criticism. It has 3 functions to perform. To discover whether one person or more than person wrote it. In the beginning, I mentioned that if this was written particular person, is the only one person written or some others are also involved in this writing the document. That is also checking very important. Otherwise, others also contributed and it will mention only one author name. So that is also took place there. Yes, it is edited book. Nelluru Prasad, he edited. Others also contributed to writing the authors names also mentioned in this time. In the contents, you check in the left side topic and in the right side authors and page numbers. So first of all, discover whether one author written or many authors contributed and it's a edited book or single author book or 2 authors book. You have to check that one. To find out from which it originated, place at which it was produced. It was produced there or somewhere else. And third one, to discover the time during which it was produced or whether it was written at similar time or different time. When this was produced at the same time or reproduced or republished, that also we have to check related to a particular book or one book example I have given, but so many you can refer while checking the document. Then it is 3 points we have to remember: author, place, and time. So first we go to the author. It is also very necessary that author should be identified. The identification of author must be well established, and if the document do not contain the name of the author in itself, it should be found out from other contemporary records, language of the document, and style of writing. If we have got one document where the first page is removed, then we are there is no author name is mentioned. Then you have to check through you have to refer publication through or year wise. You have to contemporary where at the time and check the find out the correct author name. Another essential thing is that after due scrutiny of the document and establish authenticity, the aptitude and training of the writer should be well known. That is also important. Then again, we have to find another thing is the place. Another important function of the external criticism is to determine the place of the document. If document mention the event which did not happen on that place where it has been written, the value of the document will definitely suffer. The main purpose of knowledge, place of writing document helps to understand the surrounding in which the document was produced. Yeah, it is very, very necessary. If I publish and there is no place, then how can we consider it as an authentic one? If that book is lost, if I want to another book, that time we need the where it was published, in which year, which author, which name of the book. Through it, we can find other things also. The main purpose of knowledge place of writing document helps to understand the surrounding in which the document was produced. This point guides the scholar in establishing the significance of the document. Then time is very, very important while we are doing the external criticism. Here the time is in which year the document was produced. One. It is therefore essential to find out the time at which the document was written. The value of the document will go up if the event is contemporarily recorded or even is mentioned at the same place and same time at which it happened. Now there is a difference of time between happening of the event and the time of recording, then importance of the document will come down. Likewise, if the event has been recorded far away from the time during which event happened, then its importance suffers. So that's why the document is very authentic. Now you and we all are know that we are suffering the this corona period of corona era. So if document what happened in the Europe, in China, how its impact on India, if it is written contemporarily and keep the year, mention the year, time and place, it is authentic. After 100, 200 years later, if they are documented, then they not get the documents or the material scattered, then the people are died also. Those who are going to give information, that is secondary one. Places also different. So these things are changing. That's why it is very necessary that time the document to be documented. Time is very important, even place is also. Likewise, if the event has been recorded far away from the time during which event happened, then its importance suffers. Thus, the job of the external criticism will furnish after authenticity of a document has been established. Then some important method or confirming the authenticity of document. How you can confirm that this document is correct one or fake one. It is not necessary that document in many cases have been forged and counterfeited due to one or many reasons. It is also a difficult job to find out whether a particular document is forged. Now it is the responsibility of research scholar to establish the authenticity of document before drawing the conclusion, because any conclusion drawn on the authority of wrong document would provide wrong results. That's why it is very necessary to cross-check the document. There are following methods which help in finding out whether document is forged on or genuine or authentic one. The scholar has to resort to a number of tests. Paleographically, he can easily get the information about it's a fake one or fact one. Paleography is very useful in finding out whether a document is authentic or fake, but it has proved in the field of ancient history, because that period of history has been recorded with the help of lithic and copper plates. It is well understood that nature or style of writing has gone under change from course of time. If in any epoch the alphabets do not ensure to the type of alphabets which were used commonly during that period of which it is seen to belong, then it may be presumed that document is forged. Likewise, authenticity of the document can be established from handwriting, style, spelling, and other features which provide a scholar a good idea whether the document is written or not. A document is genuine or forged one which can be found out by comparing the event with the contemporary record. As a document mentioned about a ruler or a personality who was ruling at that time and who was writers and which type of writing they have adopted, that is also give us information. Then sometimes critical approach also give us the authenticity of the particular document. The another method which help in finding out whether a document is fake is critical approach or critical scholarship. Is it correct one, wrong one, or sometime or a contemporary one or the same period one. So here has to think critically. In the present days, many scholars are trying to find out whether a particular document is genuine or not. First, they make an effort to establish the authenticity of document. For example, they find out whether the writer of the document is the same to which authorship is being assigned. They are engaged to restore text, fix chronology, and collect, verify, and classify various types of documents. Therefore, they are contributing a lot in the field of authenticity of the document. During the 19th century, their critical approach was started to be much appreciated, and they began to do their work in such scientific lines. Is it correct or wrong? If it's logically correct, rationally correct, then what? So they are not producing history, but trying to establish authenticity of the document. They are not reproducing the history, or they are not experimental, but through this thinking, scientifically method, they come to the fact of the particular event. Then authorship, if they find out whether, if the same author is determined, it becomes clear that document of author is the same whom authorship is done. But we cannot say that anonymous document has no importance. In some cases, this document contains very useful information. So essential methods have been taken for estimate content of the authorship. Authorship is very important. If without author we refer the book, how can you give the footnotes? How can you give in the what we say, reference book, bibliography. Problem of textual errors also took place in some time. Another problem which can arise before the historian is that sometimes genuine document may some particular textual errors. These errors in some cases may be intentional and in other cases may be unintentional. The unintentional error can take place due to the errors of the proofreaders. Sometimes they are, if we refer any book, sometimes spelling mistake are there, typing mistake is out there. Sometimes the proofreaders not correct one. Sometimes typist also, even the picture is give wrong information. But in the modern period, use of photostat, electrostat, and microfilm, copies have no ground for such error. An international error can error can creep in when effort is done to modify supplement. Means intentional error we cannot correct one, but unintentionally things if happen we can correct it. Then problem of proper date. Yeah, this is very, very important because whenever we get the document book, sometimes the date is missing. So time and place of the publication document is also necessary to establish authenticity of document, particularly in the case of the old document. In the present period, the date of publication or the formation is written on the document, but the document pertaining to old period have this problem date. Because today I refer this book, this one, because they easily mention, but you go to the past in medieval times, before 17th centuries document, that time we are very less date and other things we find those. If the year of writing of the document is not known, the historian cannot rely on the material. Now it becomes the responsibility of the historian before using that material. He has to find out the period with the help of language he uses. Is a medieval language, ancient period language, or modern period language. They also try to determine that the document would not have been written before a particular period or after. But with the help of the writer, they also try to determine the period of the document. So in that case, the authenticity of the author and his living the same period is also established. Thus, it may be assumed that this work may be written by a historian or an author who has the good knowledge of the period to which the document is mentioned. So another duty of the historian, he has to job of the proper meaning. Since authentic document is determined, the historian is confronted with the problem of assigning proper meaning to the various words and terms. It is noteworthy that the meaning of words undergo on change from generation to generation, from time to time. See, 20 years ago, we are writing a thank you in a very clear manner, right? Today, if you refer the mobile or WhatsApp language, how you can write thank you. So totally changed. It's one modern example I have given to you. Therefore, it is presumed that historian is to find out meaning the sense in which it has been used in the document. If there is any differences about the meaning of words and phrases, it may result to misunderstanding of the important historical development. So how the changing transformation took place from that place to this time. So here the Gottschalk has rightly said, the historian task is to understand and not only what a document's words may formally mean, but also what his witness really intended to say. So, and whatever written in that book, that understanding is also important. So responsibility of a scholar of external criticism is so many responsibilities. For time limited, we have to study a few of them. The main responsibility scholar who deals external criticism is to have comprehensive knowledge of various cultures, so that he may also able to put the person and events in their proper historical setting. He must be a critical thinker. They also should put himself to the position of other individuals' times and also define the document by their standard. This quality of scholarship known as historical mindset must be very necessary. If you are prejudiced mind, if you are a cunning mind, if you are lazy person, if you are not hardworking one, whatever, okay, it's forget it, then no use. So historical angle, how it is important. It's old, its author is not there, place is not there, time is mentioned, document in your hand, and the parallel publications also, you know that, then you have to do hard work and find out the two things. But this job is not easy job. He must be fully well aware of names, motives, and intention of the authors of those days. Historically, we have to go back and study line between the words and what is the intention of the author and book and other things. Then we come to the conclusion. Besides this, he must have proper knowledge of the style of author's writings and knowledge of the language used in those days, of important places and of geography where the historical event happened. Thus, the scholar should have this basic quality of establishing the authenticity of document. Without this, certain qualities may of any historical document. Again, they said, Susan points out that it is the greatest service that can be rendered by the historian, and this he can do best by concentrating on the special field which he studies to understand. At last, the historian has once determined the authenticity of the document and find out the proper views which his authors had intention to convey. His task would still remain undone. Now he had to face some other important problem, which is the problem of readability. It is equally important as that of problem of authenticity. So that's why in external criticism, we have to keep 3 points in our mind: author, place, and time. On this basis, this document is correct one or a fake one, genuine or fake. So this is the external criticism of the document. When you find any any document that you find author, the place, and in which year this must progress. These 3 points keep in your mind. So externally, we have to test the document. In another lecture, we have to go to the internal criticism, how it is also important for history research method. For more information, you have to refer these books. Ken Chitney's Research Methodology in History and Chetan Agrawal, Vijay Sharma's book Research Methodology in History, where they have detailedly mentioned about related to this topic. Then books on other Amar Kant Singh's Research Methodology and Techniques in History, Research Methodology in History and Historiography, Lal Shah's book. These all are very helpful to understand more points related to sources along with testing of historical documents and other things, even internal criticism and external criticism. So these are the reference book you can refer. Bishekali book is very good for detailed information about this.